If school guaranteed success, then every top student would already be winning in real life, but they're not. And that's the uncomfortable truth. Most people avoid. School can give you stability, but it cannot guarantee wealth, and it definitely cannot guarantee success. Yet, from a young age, many people are taught to believe that good grades equal a good future. You are told to study hard, follow the rules, pass exams, and everything will work out. But what if that belief is incomplete? In school, you are trained to operate inside a system. You are given clear instructions, clear expectations, and clear answers. You are rewarded for being correct, for memorizing information, and for following structure. If you do well, you are praised, and if you don't, you are told to improve within the same system. Over time, this shapes how you think. You begin to associate success with approval and correctness instead of creativity and problem solving. In many education systems, especially in environments where discipline is prioritized, students are expected to follow strict rules. Uniforms, behavior schedules, even the way you express yourself can be controlled. In some places, speaking up, questioning ideas, or thinking differently is not encouraged. The focus becomes order control and exam performance instead of developing independent thinking and real-world skills. And when people grow up in systems like this, they become very good at following, but not always good at creating. Now, let's be clear. School is not useless. It provides structure. It teaches basic knowledge, and it can build discipline. It can introduce you to different subjects and help you develop certain habits. But the issue begins when people confuse education with success, because the real world operates under completely different rules. Outside the classroom, nobody is grading you on how well you memorize information. Nobody rewards you just for doing what you're told. In the real world, value is created through solving problems, understanding, people communicating ideas, and taking action. Success often comes from uncertainty, risk, and learning through experience, not from repeating correct answers. This is why something interesting happens that confuses a lot of people. The top students in class don't always become the most successful people in life. And the students who sat at the back, struggled with exams, or didn't fit the system don't always fail. In fact, some of them go on to build businesses, create opportunities, and achieve things that school never measured. Why does this happen? Because school is one system, and real life is another. Being good at school means you are good at performing within that structure. But success in life requires you to operate in environments where there are no clear answers, no fixed rules, and no guaranteed outcomes. It requires initiative instead of obedience, creativity instead of memorization, and action instead of theory. There are people who were average in school or even considered weak students, but later became successful because they developed skills outside the classroom. They learned how to communicate, how to sell, how to build, how to think independently, and how to adapt. They learned by doing, by failing, and by trying again. They weren't waiting for approval, they were creating their own opportunities. At the same time, there are people who did everything right in school. They followed every rule, got high grades, and met every expectation. But when they entered the real world, they struggled because they were never trained to take risks, create value, or deal with uncertainty. They were trained to wait for instructions, not to create their own path. Another important point that many people overlook is that some education systems limit expression. When students are not encouraged to question or explore different perspectives, they become good at staying within boundaries, but not good at expanding them. And in the real world, those who can think differently often have the biggest advantage. The world rewards people who can solve problems, not just people who can pass tests. It rewards people who can see opportunities where others see limitations. It rewards people who can create value for others, not just people who can follow instructions. This is also why many successful individuals say that most of what helped them succeed did not come from school. It came from experience, from failure, from real-world challenges, and from building something of their own. Because real life is not structured like an exam. It is unpredictable. It forces you to think, adapt, and make decisions without knowing the outcome. And here is something even deeper. School often prepares you for stability, not for wealth. It prepares you to fit into existing systems. Not to build your own stability means security, a predictable path, a stable income, and a clear structure. And there is nothing wrong with that. But wealth requires a different mindset. It requires risk, tolerance, long-term, thinking, value, creation, and the ability to operate without guarantees. This is why many people who follow the traditional path perfectly still feel stuck later in life. They did everything they were told, they studied hard, got good grades, found a stable job. But they realized that stability alone does not lead to financial freedom or personal fulfillment, because they were trained to follow a path, not to create one. So what does this mean for you? If you are not the best student in the room, it does not mean you are behind. It simply means you may need to learn in a different way. You may need to focus on real-world skills, building experience, understanding people, and taking action. Your path might not look traditional, but that does not make it wrong. And if you are doing well in school, that is great, but do not rely on it alone. Do not assume that good grades will automatically lead to success. Use school as a foundation, but build beyond it. Learn how to communicate. Learn how to think critically. Learn how to adapt. Learn how to solve problems, and most importantly, learn how to take action. Because at the end of the day, school can give you structure, it can give you stability, but it cannot guarantee success, and it cannot guarantee wealth. Real success is built outside the classroom, through experience, skills, and the ability to create value in the real world. And if this idea resonates with you, if you've ever felt like the system doesn't fully prepare you for real life, I've put everything I've learned into an ebook called Success Doesn't Come from School. In this ebook, I go deeper into how to build real-world skills, how to think independently, and how to create your own path beyond the classroom. If you want to learn more, you can check it out. The link is in my profile, because understanding this might change the way you approach your future, and maybe even change your life.